Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the DAW July meeting. And if all goes as planned, this will be the last time that our meeting is totally Zoom because we are coming up very quickly on being able to meet face to face again. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's some exciting news. So I want to welcome everybody. We had a last minute change in our demo plans, and Matt Harber is going to be handling the demo today. And Matt, thank you for stepping up and helping us out there. And so any guests or new members with us today, if you could unmute your mic and let us know who you are and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Jeff, this is Jay.
Hey, Jay.
I'd like to get Matt there real quick. I hope to introduce himself. He's a guest I brought today. He's the one that made that tool I told you about. So that's Matt, who was muted before. So if you can introduce him, that'd be great.
Matt.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Let's highlight him.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you.
There you are. Hi, Matt.
Yes. Hi. How are you? I'm tuning in from Pittsburgh here.
Oh, cool. Welcome.
Yeah. So I'm actually sitting out with my daughter right now at a bakery, but I do have the tool with me if anyone's interested in seeing it. I didn't know what the plans were, but I'm a member of the American Association of Woodturners through the local Pittsburgh chapter, which is called Turners Anonymous. Mm-hmm. Just did a presentation with them yesterday, actually. So yeah, just happy to be joining. Thanks for the invitation.
Well, I'm glad you could join us today. I would like to do something maybe at a workshop or a Turner's talk or something like that. Have you on and demo the tool?
Yeah. So I was telling Jay earlier. I know it's short notice and everything. The production run for the tool is starting in August, and because of the production costs and stuff like that, once it's done, it may be done. I don't know what the future plans are for it. So that's why I was trying to get kind of the word out to as many people as quickly as possible about this. It was only about a 2-month campaign. So it's about 2 weeks left into the before the end of the sales.
Okay. And for those of you who don't know, Matt has created a tool for segmenting on your table saw that does all the calculations and everything for you. And
yes, and it does segments, but kind of more importantly, the reason I designed it, it does all the calculations to cut the staves for either vertical stave or splayed stave work. So the coupled miter and bevel angles are all calculated, and it works as a jig that you just bump up against your saw to set the angles. There's no math involved.
Great.
And there's no table lookups or Excel or anything like that.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing that.
Sounds good.
So
it'd be great to see a link in the chat too on where we can see more about the tool, Matt.
Yeah.
You muted yourself, bro.
You muted yourself.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Yeah. Jay has all the information and the website. Also, if you look at either Carl Jacobson's YouTube page, he did a video on it about a month or so ago, and Andy Klein also did a video on it. It's a little bit of clickbait. It says you won't believe what this tool does, but there's links to both those videos in the Indiegogo campaign, which I'm sure Jay can pass along to you.
Yeah, Jay did post a link. I looked at it this morning when he reminded me of it. So Jay, if you can maybe repost that on our Facebook page.
I will do that.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, welcome. We're glad you're with us today, and best of luck in your campaign.
Thank you so much. I was just going to tune in for a little bit. I have family in town right now, so I just wanted to introduce myself. And Jay can provide anyone with my information. I'd love to set up a coffee hour or something at some point to demo the tool in the near future before the campaign runs out.
Well, that would be cool. We do things called Turner's Talks, where we just get people together and talk turning.
That's wonderful.
Nothing special. So we'll keep you updated on that when we're going to have the next one.
Okay, thanks so much. I'm going to tune out for now. I gotta pay attention to my fam. So
family comes first. Thanks
thanks
for stopping in.
Yep,
okay,
bye.
Any other guest or new members? Don't be shy. I'm guessing not then. Okay, is Chuck back with us yet? Chuck Lovato?
I don't see him.
Okay, we'll come back to the treasurer's report then. I do want to talk about, we're in July now, and that means we're halfway through the year. And my time as your president is coming to an end. The end of this year will be the end of my second year. And as per the bylaws, I cannot run again. I have to take at least a year off. But I'm ready to pass the torch on to somebody new to take over the club and steer it in the the positive direction we're going. And so we are once again asking for anybody who's interested in running for president to please make yourself known. You don't have to do it here at today's meeting. You can contact me directly. It's people think president and they think you're working 24 hours a day, and it's not. It's been a very rewarding experience for me, especially considering what happened right after I took over with the pandemic kicking in and stuff. We had to kind of reinvent the club real quickly. So it's been a fun ride. And if you can make yourself known as quickly as possible, then we can get you into our board meetings to see how we handle board meetings and so on. It's a great board, a very supportive board, and it makes my job much easier. So let me know. Also, Cindy Yates has let me know that she is not going to be running for vice president next year. So we're looking for somebody to run for vice president, which you're the second-hand person for the president. You have certain duties, but again, nothing really tumultuous or anything that's going to take up every single day of your week. So please let me know as soon as possible if you are interested in either one of these positions. And we'll start working on getting you groomed for it and seeing how things work on the in the behind the scenes part of the club, if you will. So, we have a professional demo coming up, and that is going to be October 23rd, which is a Saturday from 10 to 12. It's going to be Cade Bolger, our Canadian friend, and he is going to be demonstrating making bird's mouth bowls. So I'm kind of excited to see that one, and that again is going to be October 23rd in place of our workshop. Speaking of workshops, we're always looking for volunteers to do a workshop, which basically you would set up in your workshop whatever it is that you're going to show us how to make, and members will then tune in from their shop and we'll work along with you. We had a very good one with Robbo last month. It was a follow-up to his skew demonstration, and I learned a lot from it. I was working right along on my lathe, and we had a couple other people working along on their lathe. And it was very rewarding and very educational. So I thank Robbo for that. So anyways, if you're interested in doing that, you don't need any fancy camera equipment. Ian Frederickson, Paul Newberger, Steve Rohr, they all did it with their phones on their cameras. I'm sorry, their cameras on their phones. I can't talk today. That's all you need, nothing special. And if you're really nervous about having to do the video part of it and doing the demo and stuff like that, Chuck Labato can come to your house and handle all the camera work for you. So all you got to do is concentrate on your turning and teaching. So if you're interested, please contact Cindy Yates on that. She is the one who is handling all that. And that's basically it. I know we talk about that every single month, but it's something that I think is a very valuable part of this club, and we need to sustain and keep going. If you don't know yet, we are having our annual picnic, our turnathon in August, just a couple of months later than usual. As you know, we couldn't have it last year because of the pandemic, but this year we're doing it. It's going to be at Chuck Labato's house. The club will provide the meats, burgers, brats. I think we even have some vegetarian burgers, and the sodas. We ask you to bring a dish to pass, and we also like to know, get an idea of how many people are going to be there. So if you could send us a boy, how do we do this? Send Cindy Yates a notice if you're planning on being there and bringing a dish. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. Does that sound good to you, Cindy?
Yeah, or just send me a text message.
Or just send her a text message. I got to fix something here. Matt is spotlighted. So I'm going to take over the spotlight. There we go. So send Cindy a text or contact her and let her know we need to get a handle on who's going to be there, so we can order the right amount of meats and so on. But it's going to be fun. If you haven't been to a picnic before, we have food, we have fun camaraderie, we have a turning contest. We call it the turnathon, and generally we have 2 teams and 2 lays set up, and they compete to finish something, and then we have a group of people that are randomly picked during the day to be our judges to see which team wins. So it's a lot of fun. We're going to do something new this year since Chuck has got a setup for a bonfire. We're going to have a bowl burning party. So if you've got a bowl that you've made a funnel out of, or you got a bowl that you just think is awful and you're going to throw it away anyways, bring it to Chuck's and we're going to burn it. It'll be a bowl burning party. So that ought to be a lot of fun too. So it's basically just a very loose, fun time that we can all get together as a club with our families and celebrate wood turning and celebrate each other. That's going to be from, again, that's going to be, where's my notes here? August 15th. It's going to be in place of our meeting, and it's going to be from 12 to 4 o'clock. So anybody got any questions on the picnic?
Yeah, I got a couple things I want to add.
Okay, go ahead.
I need some volunteers.
Let's get you highlighted.
3 or 4 people to help with setup on Sunday morning about 10 or 11 o'clock.
Okay.
And I need about 2 or 3 people to help Ben with cleanup, because Ben is in charge of the cleanup. So you can put it in chat. I would really like to get some volunteers, some new people. Don't forget, you can bring your spouses, you can bring a friend, you can bring a significant other. You can bring somebody that's interested in the club and just wants to come chat. So let's make it a good time and let's have fun, because this is our first get together in over 1.5 years.
Yeah, it's our first time face to face. Really,
yeah, we need to do this and we need to have a good time. So I need help with participation and help me clean up and get set up. Thanks.
What about helping bring in anything other than a dish to pass?
Just bring your dish to pass. I got a handle on everything else.
Okay, and let me say too that cleanup is not a big thing.
No,
it really isn't. It goes very quickly, and literally everybody is going to lend a hand, because when they're done eating, everybody's throwing everything away. If we have any meat products left over, we sell it to anybody who's interested. So cleanup's not going to be a big thing. So
yeah, you need help set up the tables, the chairs, tablecloths.
Yep.
And we also talked about you can bring one piece for to talk about.
Oh yes, show and tell.
Yep, show and tell.
I almost forgot that. Thank you, because I don't think we've done that in the past. We've had a table, but we're going to actually do a show and tell this time.
Right.
Will there be
no more than 2 pieces, because it could be quite long. But bring them. We're looking forward to seeing a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Good.
Will there be the usual tool exchange sort of deal too?
I don't think we're doing that this time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we discussed that and decided not this time, but a show and tell instead.
So do you have to have a family membership to bring a spouse, or?
No.
Okay, thanks.
I don't have a family membership. I'm bringing my wife.
Yeah, just please let me know how many people are coming. Just text me and say 3 people, DAW picnic.
Yeah, this is not just a club affair; it's a family affair.
Right.
Yeah, Jeff. One other thing too about the show and tell. If somebody has a part that something that he's turning or she is turning, and there's a problem, and they don't know how to go from where they are, that's a perfect time, to ask other wood turners their opinion. That's the nice part of this, the camaraderie of it, that we all help each other.
Right.
So if there's somebody has a problem with shape or with what kind of a dye to use or texturing or carving, it's a perfect opportunity to get and all the answers, and you're gonna get more than one answer. So don't just say, oh no, it's not good enough. This is not a competition. This is just a show and tell, and we all learn from each other.
Yep.
I cannot stress that enough. I'm always learning from other people when they show things, say, how come I didn't think of that before? You know, this is very, very important. So whatever you have, they have a problem with, please bring it, and we can tackle it there.
Yeah, I do want to say, when I was new to the club, this is one of the ways that I learned a lot of stuff, is I brought in things for show and tell, and got very constructive criticism. I do want to say to our new members, just because you're new to our club or new to turning, don't think you don't have anything that's worth showing. Everything is worth showing. And this is the perfect opportunity, as Alfred said, you know, to get some help. If you're having problems figuring something out, this is the perfect time to do it. You can show the piece. And we are a very friendly club. We don't believe in criticizing. We don't believe in destructive criticism. We believe in education. We believe in support. And we are there to support you as a member and as a wood turner. So don't feel that because we've got a lot of incredible artists in this club that your work is not worth showing off, because it is.
Yeah, well, let me just say this, Jeff. When I joined the Detroit area with turners many years ago, and we were still meeting at Shedbush, and on my first meeting, when I saw what the other people were showing, I crawled underneath the chair. I said, there is no way in heaven I can do anything like that.
Yeah.
But by being positive and talking with other people, and you're learning and, you know, helping hand, and you go and visit other people at their shops, and they show you how to grind your tool, how to present the tool, which is grinding your tool, and tool presentation is 85% of the job.
Yeah.
Design comes later, you learn it. But tool presentation takes a lot. A lot of people get frustrated because, well, I can't sharpen my tool properly. I'm getting all these ridges, and then it could be a combination. It could be the sharpening, tool presentation, you're not using the bevel, it's jumping all the way. So that's why we're there.
Yeah. Yeah, my experience was the same. My first 1 or 2 meetings at Sagebush, I saw the show and tell, and there's no way I'm going to be showing anything off. And by the 3rd meeting, I brought a pen that I made and got a lot of good feedback on it, including that's what moved me into the area of playing around with CA finish. You know, Chuck helped me a lot with that. So yeah, it's well worth it. And so I encourage new members and new turners to please bring something. And if you got questions, ask the questions, and we're there for you. That's what we're all about. So, any other questions on the picnic? Okay, don't forget to let Cindy know how many will be there, and if you can help with setup and cleanup. If you saw my email that sent out, we have a new home. It's a temporary home until we can find a permanent location. And a permanent location, I'm hoping, will be a location we have meetings and a workshop in. And that's something we're still working on. But our new home for the time being is going to be the Central United Methodist Church in Waterford, which is about 4 miles from where we used to meet, right out west on 59. It's actually right across the street from where we're storing all of our equipment after we moved out of PCAC. So I hope to see all of you there. The caveat to that is this is what's funny. When I started as your president, I had 1 meeting with you, then I went on vacation and I missed February. We're finally going to meet face to face, and as it stands right now, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be on vacation. But you know, Chuck and Cindy and the other members of the board will be handling the meeting. And if I can join in, I will by Zoom. And it's going to be fun. And it's going to be just like the old meetings. We'll have, you know, you grab a chair and set up. We'll have tables set up for our store, our raffle. The lathe will be set up for the demo. We should have a screen and projector at that point in time, so you can see what's going on with the demos. We'll also have, for our friends, the DAW, we'll be Zooming, so you can see what's going on at the meeting and take part. And we'll have coffee and snacks like we always did before. And our door prize will be back. So we'll have a table with our door prize on it. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be nice to get back together as a wood turning family again and see each other face to face and share the experience. Because that's what it's all about. I mean, we need it badly. So Zoom is good, but it's very easy to lose interest when you're Zooming as much as what we've had to do in the past year.
Yeah, so, Jeff, I think we're all missing that fix of the wood turning camaraderie, you know, where we all meet.
Yes.
We need that fix.
We do. We do. We just need the crowd and the faces. That's what it boils down to. You know, it was always nice to run off in the corner and chat with somebody about a project they were working on, or run to the club store and pick up CA glue or whatever we needed. You know, I miss that. So I'm looking forward to having it back. So any questions on our new meeting location? I do want to say that we're continuing to look for a permanent home. And I want to reemphasize to our members that you're a big part of this. We need your input. If you know of a place or think of a place that might be a good spot for us to meet that would accommodate both meetings and workshop, let us know. Me or one of the other members of the board, let us know, you know, so we can check it out and see if it's going to work. And I'm going to make a presentation at the September meeting if I'm there. If not, I'll do it by Zoom, but I'm going to make a presentation on a possible location. But we need to continue looking. I looked at the United Methodist, or not the United Methodist, the Huntington Woods Lutheran Church in Huntington Woods the other day. I finally got to go over there and see the facility. It's a nice facility, but it will not work as a permanent location. It basically doesn't offer us any more than what we have right now in our temporary location. And matter of fact, it's just a little bit less. And it's unfortunate because there's just wonderful people there and it's a nice location. We were looking at the old church next to the Pontiac Creative Arts Center that's been standing empty for a couple years. And I just talked the other day with a lady who was buying it. She has not closed on the property yet. She was supposed to close on July 12th and that hasn't happened. I don't know if that's a viable location or not. It's already set up with chairs and everything to have our meetings, but whether or not a workshop would work or not, I'm not certain. But we can't even talk about it till she closes on it. So I'll keep you up to date on that one also. So that's it on our new home. Looking forward to seeing everybody in September. Starkweather Gallery, as of Friday, Ken Kernacki, I don't know if you're here today, Ken, or not, but Ken told me he's only gotten one application for the Starkweather Gallery exhibition that we're having in October. If I sent all the forms out to everybody, and I included them in the last email I sent out for this club meeting. If you want to be in it and you're not certain what you're going to put into it, do us a favor and at least fill out the top portion of the form with your name and address and contact information and send that in with your check to Ken Kernicki, and his address is at the bottom, so that we can get an idea of how many people are going to participate in that. We really need to know this. It's important. And then as we get closer to the deadline for having your items in, you can let us know what items you're putting in right now. I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be sending this in with nothing listed for my display items yet, because I'm still working on them. I haven't really decided yet. So please, please, please do that. Send in your application to Ken Kernicki with your check so we can get an idea of how many people are going to participate in this gallery. And along with the gallery, we're going to have the big party that starts it off. And that's going to be on October, let's see, October 1st to the 30th is the gallery. And then the deadline to get everything in is September 19th. So I believe it was October 1st. Board members, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was October 1st that we're having our party to kick it off, like we did at Pontiac Creative Arts Center. So
it's
please,
like Friday. It's a Friday night opening
yes,
gala or whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, and so anyways, and you know, and don't think that you got the time to delay, because we're in July already. This year's going by so blindingly fast, it isn't funny. You would think with not being able to do anything, it'd just be dragging on, but it hasn't. So get those applications in as soon as possible. Let's see here. Starkweather. So, okay, any questions on Starkweather before I move on?
Jeff,
Yes.
while I'm thinking of it, I was at Vince's house last week,
Uh-huh.
and he had said his neighbor cherry tree fell down.
Yeah.
It is monstrously big, and the wood is absolutely beautiful. Well, you saw some of it.
Yeah.
So anybody who's really wants cherry, I would highly suggest that you call Vince up and make arrangements. But he said he's going to be on vacation this week, I think.
Okay.
This coming week. So the wood is stunning.
Yeah, I know the day he was asking everybody to be there, rained all day long. Just like pretty much every day of this month. Yeah, and I've gotten cherry from Vince before, and it's stunning wood, just absolutely stunning wood. But thank you, Paul, for bringing that up, because I didn't have that on my list of items. We are still working on our 501c. There's a lot of paperwork to get in for that, and we'll keep you updated as that goes along, and we get it. And the 501c will give us the ability to get grants to help grow the club, and will actually help us possibly get into different places and everything for a new home. So that's coming along. It's just a lot of work to do to get it going. And Chuck is handling all that as our treasurer. So before we move into Matt's demo, are there any questions or announcements anybody wants to make? Don't forget to unmute. Okay, then. We will have 10 minutes set aside at the end of the meeting, like we always do, for general questions and stuff. If you're having a problem or issue with something, that would be the time to bring it up. Is Chuck back with us yet?
I have not seen him show back up.
Okay, then Matt, I am going to, once I find you here, I'm going to highlight you. Or are you highlighted?
I can spotlight myself.
Okay.
You're gonna be around to manage the rooms and stuff, Jeff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There's nobody in the waiting room right now, so I think we're probably where we're at, which is pretty typical for a July meeting.
It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I can wade in if you'd like. I'm Matt Harber, for those of you who don't know. My demonstration today is on embellishing and texturing. I'm going to start with the simple and get progressively more complicated. Please feel free to jump in and ask questions at any point. I'm going to demonstrate the tools that I have and some of the techniques that I use, but this is by no means inclusive. So I'll just wade in, I guess. Let me switch over here. And okay, the first thing I'm going to demonstrate is go to this camera. Piece of wood. I think it's ambrosia maple. It was free. So the first thing that I want to demonstrate is the use of picture hanging wire to burn a groove into something. Now, we've all seen this at some point, but I wanted to make sure that everybody saw, how it's done and some of the techniques you can do with it. Now, you can use they sell burning wire. What I've got here is just simple picture hanging wire. I made these handles from scrap 2x4s in the shop. I drilled a hole for the wire. I cut a little groove so it stays in the groove. I wrap the extra around the other one. So now, rule number one is if the lathe wants to take the wire from you, let the lathe have the wire. Do not wrap this around your fingers or hold onto it too tightly. Just let the lathe have the wire. So the first thing you do, and I will demonstrate this on both spindle and face, is you cut a groove for the wire to ride in. So piece of wood here. I'm going to use, for the first one, I'm just going to use my straight up skew to cut a little groove. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to push the tip in like this. I don't know if y'all can see that. I'm just going to push the tip in like this a little bit and cut a little V groove in it. I could do it like this, but this is a little bit better for me. So, and I could use any number of different tools to do this. So I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to cut a very small groove. And then I'm going to take my picture hanging wire and get it positioned. So I'm ready to go. And I'm going to turn the lathe up. And I apply pressure, and it smokes, and it burns a nice little groove, okay? I need ventilation in here better. Now, one groove is nice. A second groove is nicer. I'm going to use a D-way, what is it, beating tool to determine where the second groove is going to be. And the reason why I'm going to do this is so I can put a third groove in at the appropriate size. So how I do that is I just get it centered in one of the grooves and have it size the next one. And then I do exactly what I did before. And I apply pressure until it burns. Second groove. Now, two grooves are usually very, very cool. The hard part with putting the third groove in is that it's very hard to get it exactly right. Now, if you're using a ruler, you can get close. But one of the reasons why I like using the D-way beating tool is it's exact. So I can do the third groove. And one of the other tools that our club has is what's called what we call a 3-point tool. Is that right, Alfred?
Yes, yes, 3.2.
And we sell this as a kit. I mean, you don't get the handle part, but you get the tool itself, the bar, and I think what else?
It's a high-speed steel.
Yep. So, but it's basically just 3 facets. They're all 120 degrees apart, and you can tell I use mine a lot. It's not too shiny, but this is just basically used by, and I use this a lot when I'm doing embellishing and texturing. Is you just push it into the groove to set the groove up, and then you can use your wire in here to get a good burn on it. So that's how that's done. Now you can do it on the face in the same way, but you use, this is an acrylic sampler. You get this at like the big box stores in the kitchen area where they've got countertop stuff. And you basically do this the same way, only you push this into the groove. So let me switch to this camera. So here on the face, let me use the point tool because it's handy. So I'm going to put a groove in here, turn my lathe up, get this thing on edge, and push it into the groove. And I can do a second one. And I've got burned grooves on the face. So there's a lot you can do with this. Typically I will sand after this. Most of you guys know that most of the folks know that I sand on the lathe. I keep a drill for that purpose.
Matt, another way of laying out the lines evenly, and if you put an odd set of lines in, they've got to be even. I use a pair of dividers or a compass.
That's a great idea too. First time I saw this done, somebody was using using the side of their skew to lay it out. That's how far apart they were doing it. They were cutting the groove with the skew, and then using the edge of the skew to determine. So they would go, okay, there's the first one. That's how far apart it is. There's the second one.
Yeah, I quite often mark out like that.
Yep. So I think my skew's like a 1/4 inch apart. It's 1/4 inch thick or something. You want them 1/4 inch apart. That's a great way to do it.
Hey, Matt, I have a suggestion too. This is
Yes, sir.
Mike Lunaway. If you're going to put an odd number in, like 3, do your 2 outside first rather than trying to go across. It's a lot easier to find the middle than it is to find the spacing for the third one.
Yep, I totally agree. And I've done, I've done it any number of different ways. I've guesstimated it. I've done it with rulers. My favorite way, like I just showed, is with the D-Way beading tool. But there's a bunch of different ways to do it. And I mean, I could make these grooves with the spindle gouge. I could make it, with a parting tool, even if I wanted to. So there's a lot of ways to make the grooves, a lot of ways to separate them out. That's a good suggestion, Mike. Any other comments or questions or suggestions?
Yeah, just why do you come up from underneath? I always came in from the top.
What do you mean by up from underneath or in the top?
Well, you put the wire underneath and lifted it up.
Yeah, I can get more pressure on it that way.
Oh, right. I always come in from the top. So
yeah, I have a, if I'm pushing down and it slips off, then my hands and I go into the lathe. If I'm coming up and it slips off, I'm coming away from the piece. So that's my thinking on it. So you may be right, but that's how I think about it. I don't want to be pushed into the piece if I slip.
yeah, I was thinking more if you're coming in from underneath, actually, and it does grab, it's going to drag your hand straight into the tool rest.
Well, that's why you hold the handles lightly.
I know that.
Yeah, if it tries to take it, you let it have it.
Yep. So if anything's dropping, never try to catch it.
Right.
So Matt, if you want to make a thinner, use a thinner wire than picture hanging wire. I've heard people use guitar wire.
Yep, I have guitar wire here. That works good. I burned out a couple of guitar wires using it. Picture hanging wire doesn't burn out. So but yeah, you're right. You can, guitar wires come in all sorts of different diameters. So you can, there's a lot of options you can do with that. Okay. Anything else?
No, I'll shut up now.
All right. This tool here is just a round piece of steel. See if I can get it close enough here. And it's ground at an angle. So that's all it is. It's a round piece of tool steel, ground at an angle to give an oval. And what it's used for is it's used as what we call a coving tool. So what I can do with this tool is easily make coves. Now, why do I want to do that? Well, I have another tool here called the decorating elf. And the decorating elf is, I think it's Henry Taylor.
Yes.
This is one of my favorite embellishing tools, texturing embellishing tools. It's got a bit in the front that spins. It's got a magnet magnet in the base that holds it, and a bearing in the front here that allows it to spin freely. And first thing you do whenever you're using one of these tools is you make sure that you have enough room between the tool rest and the wood so that you don't catch your spinning bit in the tool rest. So there's enough room for whatever tool it is, and you'll see me do this with the Sorby tool when I demonstrate that next too. So what I'm going to do is this cove that I just cut in this piece of wood is I'm going to push this spinning bit into that cove and create a texture. So, and I don't want to go very fast here. I'm going like, I don't know, 700 RPMs. Maybe that's too fast. But you basically just push it into the groove and you allow it to cut the texture. And you can't really see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a hairbrush here that's had the bristles cut off. And this is a natural hairbrush. And we're going to use this to burnish this up with it a bit to get rid of all the fuzzies. And then I'm going to take a Sharpie and highlight this texture so you can see it. And then I'm going to get my handy dandy little remote here, get the tool out of the way. and try to zoom this. Well, it's not really all that visible, I guess, on this camera, I'm afraid. Sorry, folks. It looks a lot better here than it does in person. What it's done is it's done a nice spiral in here. But it's not, you can't really tell on the camera, I'm sorry. But that's how that's done. Now, usually when I lay a texture in like this, I'll come back with the 3-point tool and punctuate each side of it, define each side of it with the 3-point tool. The one side is already defined, so I'll get a texture like that. I can burnish it off. So, any questions on that? The angle, the tool, the bit has angled flutes on it, so you can change how your spiral is by how you put the tool into the piece. Questions on that?
That's just a carbide burr, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. So I don't know if this is.
It's actually high speed.
Is it high speed?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like the standard carbides.
Yeah, but you can't use any one because of the it has to be the right diameter, otherwise it will be sloppy in there. So that's why you have to kind of buy their own. You know, okay. There's either a bearing or a bushing in there, and it has to be kind of a slip fit. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it.
So I'm using this is a spindle gouge cut into a detail gouge to basically make another cove here, so that I can show this here. Hopefully it'll show up better. Same techniques. Man, I just can't get this zoomed in correctly. Nope, wrong one. This one. All right, that looks better. You can see the spiral that this generated, or the texture that this generated. Now that's just the one tool. That's just the decorating elf. Okay, there you can see the bit a little better. I also have what is called the Wagner texturing tools. This is basically a knurling wheel. So there you go, you can see it. So that leaves a different sort of texture. Let me put that in between the other one here. Now, one of the things I've got to make sure is I've got to make sure that I don't catch my wheel on my tool rest again. So what I'm going to do with this tool is I'm just going to push it right straight into the area that I want to texture. Now, most of these texturing tools that you use, the teeth will engage, so you can once you've got a good texture laid, you can keep moving it and it'll stay regular. So I can create a wider texture. And then I can begin to move it. And that creates a different texture. And you can see how different that is.
Hey, Matt, I found out that sometimes when you get those fuzzies, especially if you're using end grain, I just use the wood shavings because I found that brush, it's not strong enough to take those shavings. So I just use the regular wood shavings and burnishes. It takes everything off.
Yeah, basically how you do that, like Alfred's saying, let me switch back to the other camera here. And basically what Alfred's saying is you grab a handful of wood shavings and you just push them into the like so, and it burnishes and takes the fuzzies off.
Yeah. Cleans
So,
it all out.
Yep.
So that's the way I do it too, Alfred.
Yep. I certainly have done that myself when I can't find the brush. So Wagner makes two different kinds of these knurling tools. So this is this texture here is the one that was just created with this wheel, and they make a wheel that's a little wider, and they make a wheel that's got a different, like this is, I don't remember exactly because it's been a long time since I bought these. I don't remember exactly what the teeth per inch are, but the other wheel has a different teeth per inch count. So which gives you a slightly different texture. Any questions on that one?
You get a different pattern when you, instead of addressing it straight on, rotate it like 45 degrees?
They say that you're not supposed to rotate it. Yes, you do get a different pattern when you rotate it, but be careful when you do. Make sure you've got a really good firm grip on it, because the tool can take off on you. It can skate and you can lose control of the tool if you start doing that. You can do it. I have certainly done it. You get a twisted pattern. Let me get the other, the different wheeled one out. So this one is so I will try to, let me get this here and zoom it back out a little bit. Okay, so this tool is another Wagner tool. It's a different teeth per inch, and the wheel's a little wider. So I'm going to try and rotate it. I'm not going to rotate it 45. I'll rotate it about 30 degrees and see if I can. I'll lift it up about 30 degrees and see if I can do this without hurting anything.
I've actually found that using it like that, it just generally tears the wood out.
Yeah, it does. But I've also had a fair amount of success by moving it and then rotating it while I do it. So yeah, this was fairly successful. So let me highlight it with the marker and y'all can see. So let me do this, and then so I started it off at this angle here, and as I moved it to the right, I rolled it flat. So you can see that you do get a different pattern here, but it's not consistent. There is some tear out, but it does shift the pattern a little bit when you do that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
and this demo is basically designed to show what is possible, and I strongly encourage people to explore any and all of this.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, if I may add, what I found out that helps a lot too is when you're using the Wagner tool, especially, you have to make sure you're perpendicular to your wood. If you hold your tool a bit on an angle, whether it's right or left, it's gonna want to skate on you.
Yep, yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. So
yeah.
So, and you can do things like add other colors. So if I'm at a demo, where I've got the general public coming in to see, and I'm demoing, I don't know, I'm making tops or something at Performance Line Tools or something like that, then I will use these texturing tools to create textures on tops, and then use the Sharpies to add color. And there's that's a really interesting sort of embellishment tool to add that to a top or to a goblet, or any other small thing that you're making. Sharpies are vivid, they're alcohol ink, they will stick around a long time. It's a really neat sort of It's a neat thing to add. So there's a lot you can do with Sharpies to embellish things while it's turning. Don't stick it right in. You'll just abrade off the tip of the marker. But that's one way to embellish. Okay. Any questions on this so far? All right. This next one is the Sorby texturing and spiraling tool. Now, this tool comes with 3 spiraling wheels. I've got one of the spiraling wheels. I got the middle spiraling wheel on here right now. And it also comes with this platform that goes on the bottom. Now, this is still set up from when I did I added spirals to a goblet a couple of weeks ago for Eddie Castlin's meeting. And it has these indicators on here so you can determine where you want to tilt it to. If you want to lay in a regular spiral, then you use the platform. If you want to change things, then you take the platform off. And I will show rolling the tool while it's spinning and show how that works. But this is a great tool to lay in. And again, this is designed to fit on, to ride flat on your tool rest. And the bevel, the spiraling wheel only has a bevel on the one side. So that's the side that you want to do the cutting on. So I've got this set to do spirals, and I'm going to roll it along the piece like this to put in regular spirals. And I'm going to get the teeth. I'm going to drop my tool rest a little bit so that I can get the teeth in, the tip of the teeth in to do the cutting. And I'm going to move it along the piece like this. And that looks like this. And I got to make sure the tool rest is sit down. And this will give you regular spirals. And where's my...
Matt, did you say you're turning at about 700?
Yeah, roughly 700, maybe less. That was probably about 600. Yeah. So there's the spirals that I just laid in with that tool. Okay, and the different wheels and a different angle on the flat. You know, if I change the angle that this is set to, we'll change the way the spirals are. If I want regular spirals like this, I've got to use the platform to guarantee that. You can do it freehand, but it's hard to get it consistent. Questions on that?
Yeah, Matt, you said I have that same tool, and I have always used it with the platform on the tool, and you dial it to whatever, excuse me, number you want. I've never known you should take the platform off to texture.
Well, let me show you that, Dave. I'm going to take my platform off right now.
See, I just understood that if you wanted to change the design or the texture, you just rotated the...
Well, you can change the design and texture on the fly. Okay.
Right.
So you can roll the tool. So I have to take the wheel off, and that's a pain. So let me switch to this view here. Okay. So what I can do is I can start the tool, and then as I'm coming across, I can change it. Once I take the platform off, that's what I can do with it. Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
So, and I could do that. I could do that on the spindle side as well. It's cooler on the face, and I'll show you that.
Yeah.
There is a wealth of interesting designs you can create in the center of this piece with these wheels. So I'm going to try and create something interesting. No guarantees, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to create something interesting here, and then I'm going to come out here and roll it through to show you what can happen. Okay. So yeah, I'm going exactly 700 here. So, and then I'm going to move it out. And I've got a mess.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I don't think I've got anything I can show you guys.
That's called a piece of art.
Yeah. Nope. That's called really soft maple.
You're trying to create a flower?
Yeah, I was trying to create a flower. You got one handy, Alfred?
No, I don't have one.
Harder wood works better.
Get it too easily.
All right, let me just show how to roll the tool through something here. So I'm gonna straighten the tool up so that I'm coming almost parallel by the time I get to the edge here. So I got it. It's still a little too soft.
Yeah,
So,
all I can say is doing that flower, it's really hit and miss. You try one, comes perfect. You try again on the same piece of wood, and that looks like crap. So
yep.
No guarantee.
So this is what happened when happens when I roll that spiraling wheel. So, and you can see how it's changed as I straighten it up. And you can even get, if you're straight in like this on the side, you get one sort of interesting texture. If you're perpendicular on the side, you get a different sort of texture. There's a lot of things you can do. Let me see if I can clean this up and get something better here in the middle.
I guess I've just never thought of taking that flat piece off the bottom, but that just adds more.
Like I said at the beginning, it adds an infinite amount of potential.
Yeah.
For what you can do with these. So.
Well, now see, now I got to spend a whole day playing with it that way.
Yes, you do. And maybe if I do an in-shop workshop on it, we can all do it together.
Yeah, I guess I just never thought of removing that flat piece. I thought it just had to stay on.
That's why we're here, Dave.
Yeah.
That's only one wheel. There is the other wheels that you can do different. I'm sure Matt is going to show them.
I love the tool.
I wasn't going to use the other wheels. I was just going to show the basic stuff.
Right.
But
yeah,
I love the tool for the fact that it's got the 3 different wheels, but now you've just added a whole lot more dimension to what I can do with it.
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess the older they get, the dumber I get too.
So there you go, Dave. You got your money's worth out of the meeting today.
I did. I did. I don't care what you say about Matt, Jeff. He's pretty smart.
Watch it there.
And that's even considering him that he insulted you about the consumption of food as well.
Yeah. Well, he's used to that, though.
All right, let me see if I can get a better star going here. Nope, it's not going to get any better.
All right, got the idea.
Yeah. Nah, that's crappy.
Yeah, when I'm trying to do these designs on end grain, I found out that unless I get a really hard piece of wood, like hard maple, it tears out very, very easily.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I've had success on cherry and walnut, and so I don't have. I meant to grab some more stuff here. Maybe I'll come back and show embellishing wax. There's once you've got a texture in place, you can do things like add further embellishments. So one of the things I wanted to show here is everybody knows I do some airbrushing. What do I do with that? There it is. So one of the things you can do rule number 1, when airbrushing, cover your lathe bed. So one of the things you can do is you can I'm going to use chestnut spirit stain here. I'm going to use black chestnut spirit stain. And I'm going to use my airbrush, which is a double action airbrush. I'm going to use a little bit of this. And I'm going to fill in my texture here. Now, when you've created a texture and you're gonna airbrush, or you're gonna paint it, color it in any way, be sure to use a stain or a dye, not a paint or a lacquer. And the reason why you're using a stain or the dye is you want it to get into the textures but not fill them up. Okay, so your texture will get filled up if you use a lacquer or a paint, which is why I'm spraying chestnut spirit stain, which is a dye or a stain. All right, any questions on that? Put the top back on. Rule number 1, always put the top back on before you do anything else. Okay. And I meant to grab that stuff. Now, once your texture is colored, give me 2 minutes while I go grab something. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
Hey, Jeff, if you can highlight me, I can show something that's similar to what Matt was showing. I should be at the very beginning. Oh, there we go. Okay, this is what he was doing, that's spiraling. That's how it comes. It's really, really nice. And what I did, I highlighted the top and bottom with a 3.2, and then I taped the bottom and the top, and then I airbrushed it. This is just a box that I had done, but that's one way. And it's really, really simple to use. The more you turn it, when you're doing it, the more you turn it, the steeper or the more horizontal, vertical to horizontal. It depends how you turn your wheel. But sharp, it has to be sharp, and there is a way how to sharpen that tool too. But I just wanted to show that you can make something, a simple, ordinary piece of wood, and give it some light, color.
Was that a stain that you sprayed that with?
That's a dye.
Okay.
It's actually it might be transtant, or else the other dyes we got from I don't know where, but no, it's just regular dye. Artisan. It's artisan blue. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, there's you can even use like leather dyes and stuff like that.
Yes, I use those. I went to a horse show with my wife, and I went to the store and I see all these dyes. So I bought one of each. She said, "What are you buying?"
Okay, this is a Hampshire Sheen embellishing wax sample set. It's got 8 of their colors in it. I'm going to use the electric blue here, and I'm going to push it into this is just a paper towel, and I'm going to push it into my grooves here.
Is that available from Jeff Hornig?
It is.
Okay.
His website is Walnut Log. It's either walnutlog.com or thewalnutlog.com.
I think it's the Walnut Log.
Yeah, but he is a vendor for this stuff, and he does sell it. And matter of fact, I bought this set from him. So
okay.
At Ron Campbell's Hands-On Retreat.
Ron Campbell's Hands-On Retreat. Yep. The greatest wood turning event in the world.
Or at least in Michigan. So I'd hope that this would show up a little bit better. Anyway, but what this does, what the embellishing wax is designed to do is to go into the grooves. Okay, so let me find my little zooming doohickey here. And I've got to be on the right thing in order for that to work. So I don't know if you guys can see that really well. What happens if I add light? There you go.
Oh, there we go.
That's a lot better.
So this is the more tear out from the texturing I did, but you can see how this stuff goes into the grooves here. And then of course you would finish it like you would normally finish it, with wax on, or lacquer on top, or poly on top, or whatever you're doing. But that's one way of embellishing also. There is another way, and there is another thing you can add to this, and that is gilt creams. And gilt creams can be used as embellishing wax, where you're pushing things into the crevices, or that's not, yeah. This is a company called Goldfinger. I think I got these at Michael's. Rub and Buff works. This is a silver. The way this is done is you get a very, very thin bit on your finger. Use gloves. And if you guys have seen the Nick Agar Viking Sunset bowls, this is how the metallizing is done. And I'm only getting a very, very thin bit on my finger to go across the top with, because if I get any more, it'll start getting down in the cracks. And once it's down in the cracks, it's nearly impossible to get out. So, and of course that cleans up with DNA, otherwise known as methylated spirits for our friends in the UK. And let me see if that makes any difference. But so where the embellishing wax is in the cracks, the gilt cream is on top. So what you're seeing is the surface being covered with the silver. And they make it, bronze and gold and so on. And I've done that with those too. So, and this is a really neat, this looks a lot better in person than it's looking here on my screen. And those of you who paid attention on Facebook to my posts and so on have seen these pieces that I've made and how cool the metallizing effect is. So any questions on either of these techniques that I've just shown? Can you do a
spray lacquer over that?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would defer to Alfred and his expertise on how to do it. You spray light coats from at least a foot away. Mm-hmm. You don't want heavy coats. You don't want, when I'm making a piece for sale, I'm putting anywhere from 8 to 15 coats of lacquer on, light coats applied, every half day or every 24 hours or something like that. And then after I've got 5 or 6 coats on, I'll start sanding lightly between coats. So.
Yeah, that's how I do it too, Jeff. Especially when the first couple of coats, you just want to mist it on. You don't want any of the alcohol and the lacquer to melt. So the other stuff. So once you get a light covering on it, then you can go a bit heavier. And with lacquer, because it dries so fast, you can actually put a coat every 20 minutes or half an hour. You can put a coat, and in one day you can finish the whole piece, by putting so many coats. That's the advantage of using lacquer over, polyurethane. But,
yep. Yep. I totally agree. That's exactly how I do it also. I mean, I tend to give it a little longer to dry between coats, just because.
Yeah. But because I'm using light coats, it dries a lot faster, Yep. That's what I know.
And all three, that's exactly the same thing I do.
Okay, any questions on that?
Now, Jeff, where did you get that gold finger from? Did you say Michael's?
I don't remember. I may have ordered it on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but
yeah, I'll just do a search. And see
yeah, there is anything that's called gilt cream. I mean, Rub and Buff works. I've used that.
Yes.
So
I've used Rub and Buff many times. However, I found out that if I don't use them often, they kind of tend to harden.
Yep.
And
yeah, the gilt cream is a better product. That's for sure. So one of the other things I do is I use gesso, and gesso is an acrylic base coat. That's all it is. It's a thick acrylic paint. This is on this piece here. It's black gesso. I also have white gesso. I've got a piece I'm working on right now. That's the base of white gesso on walnut. So let me turn that off. Gesso. All right. So when you're doing embellishing, there's John. When you're doing embellishing, I tend to plan my embellishing out a little more. So I start to look at a piece as a canvas for the embellishing rather than as a turned piece per se. You can add texturing to turned pieces, but it helps if you do a little more planning ahead of time. So on this piece here, what I intend to do is I intend to turn to do embellishing on this section of it and then make a little bowl in the center. So I've got my canvas for embellishing is this rim, which is about 1 inch or so wide. So the thing with gesso is, so what I've done is I've turned this face flat, and then I've sanded it, and I've also base coated it with sanding sealer a few times. And the reason I do that is so that the gesso doesn't soak into the wood. And then what you can do is you can then turn designs or carved designs into the paint, exposing the wood underneath. And that is also a fairly interesting way to embellish your pieces. So for instance, on this piece here, you know what, let me clean up the sides first. So I've not cared a whole lot about the sides and the paint. I've been a little sloppy intentionally because I can clean it up with whatever tool I want to use. And I can get a nice even surface. And then I can take, now what this is a thin parting tool. I got this at Rockler, I don't know, 15 bucks. Lots of people make these. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay in some grooves here into the wood. So I've got a groove here. And I got another groove here. A little uneven. And now I can dish out my bowl in the middle and carve on the rim. So, and I've got a medium. This piece has grown uneven since I turned it. So I'm getting some interesting sort of aberrations in the groove. But the bottom line is I can now carve, exposing the wood underneath in here, anything I want. And all you have to do is just remove the paint, and you've got designs and who knows what else on here. Any questions on that? Anybody still with me?
We're still with you.
We're here.
Still here.
Not a question, just a bit of a statement. That thin parting tool that you've got there, actually work better if you put a relief on the nose. Put another slight grind back from the nose, so to end up with like a double bevel, but you've got a long bevel on one side and a little short one. It only has to be about 6 millimeters on the other side.
Yeah, I've seen those made like that.
Yeah, they just seem to work better than a straight point like that.
Almost a negative rake.
It's almost like you get a sort of a negative rake with it.
Yeah.
Yep. Very cool. Anything else?
No, just the fact that I love gesso. I haven't seen anybody use gesso for about 20 years, I reckon. I used to use a lot of it on lampstands.
I've got 7 pieces in the shop right now that have varying stages of gesso on them. So I'm using it. I love using it. I love the design opportunities it offers. If you're airbrushing, a lot of the times when you're airbrushing, you have to take into account the base color of the wood. So if your wood isn't perfectly bleached or white, your colors are going to be altered. For instance, if you spray blue on top of mulberry, which is yellow, you're going to get a green, even though you might have wanted the blue. So using the gesso, either whether it's a black or a white, or you could use any other number of other products, things like milk paint, for instance, comes in a variety of different colors and it goes on pretty thick and solid and opaque. That's another good base for this sort of work. So it gives you an opportunity to put down a good solid base. Like say you're doing the cosmic cloud thing with interference paints. Those work best when you've got a good black background.
Yep.
Well, you can do the cosmic cloud if you put a good gesso base on and go from there.
Yeah, the other advantage with gesso is too that you can actually mix stains with the gesso to get just about any color you like. If you use white.
Yep.
Like use food dyes in it.
Yeah, it gives you an infinite possibility, and it's a good thick base coat paint. So yeah, so I got a piece or two up here with white on them and some with black on them, and yep. So it's good stuff. So any other questions on that stuff? Anything else anybody else would like to see?
Do you have a chattering tool?
I do not have a chattering tool. I can actually, this thin parting tool, I have used it as a chattering tool. You get far enough away on the tool rest and it'll chatter. So a chattering tool is another way to create textures. And I'm considering getting one just so I can add it to this sort of demonstration because you can get a wide variety, infinite variety of patterns just by altering one of the variables, like moving further out from the center or moving further away from the tool rest or that kind of thing. So
I've never had luck with them. I think maybe because I'm using too soft of a wood.
And they only work on end grain.
Chattering tool, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you use too soft of a wood on things, Bob, you start just tearing up the wood when you start doing texturing. So there are some woods that are excellent for things like texturing and carving and using the spiraling and texturing tools on things like cherry, hard maple, and so on. Oaks are not so good at that, and neither is box elder. So there's a lot of different things you can do, and these are just a few of the tools that I have and a few of the techniques I've used. I airbrush a lot more extensively than I've shown today. That falls under the embellishing. I've painted scenes, drawn scenes. I've used a wood burner. You can use a wood burner to create textures. I have done that in some of the Nick Agar Viking sunset bowls. So there's a lot of things you can do outside of what I've shown here, just using any sort of tools that you can imagine. I mean, you can do all your, you know what? You can use a Dremel to create textures. There's a, matter of fact, let me see if I've got, what do I do with that? I did have a Dremel. We got enough time?
Sure.
All right. Let me fire something up here. So
one of the favorite patterns I like using for doing things is actually a Phillips screwdriver.
Yep.
And just drive, you get little stars all over it then.
Yeah.
I have leather stamps that I've used too for the same thing. So on a Dremel, let me see here. Let me just switch to this camera here. This one. So this is, I don't have the thing. What this is called a rotary chisel, rotarychisel.com.
Yeah.
This fits in the Dremel. This is the round profile one. I don't remember which one it is off the top of my head.
That's the 100.
Yeah, I think it's the 102, but I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, there are 3 different sizes. I think that's the smaller one, right?
It's not the smallest. It's the next one up.
Okay.
All right. So Dremel, rotary chisel mounted inside. So I can create textures.
You're badly out of focus, Matt.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Change the camera.
Yeah, I will. I'll switch to this one here.
There you go.
So I can create textures. With the Dremel, just like that. So using those tools, you can use the wood carving ones that run with it. I don't know why this thing is out of focus, but it does happen. It's very easy to, you guys can see this. It's very easy to create textures with the Dremel and other carving tools. You can do it by hand if you want. There are other embellishing techniques you can do. For instance, once you've created a texture, you can go over the top of it with what they call dry brushing, which is basically just, you can use acrylic paints and take a paintbrush and get it just lightly, get a little bit of paint on it, and then wipe it on a paper towel till it's mostly dry, and then just very lightly go over the top of these textures to add character to them. There's a lot of things you can do. So anyway.
Yeah, just to add a bit more to that, Jeff, can you show that platter again that you just had there? Show us that view.
Which one?
The one you were working on.
This one here.
Show us that camera. Oh yeah. With that, the carving you were doing, you can either go radially from the center out if you had a bigger platter, and you can get them all going out like that, or else you can go around in different layers, go from the center out, and you can create any shape that you want with just one simple tool. So the creation is endless. What you can do with just that tool you were showing right now. Yeah, you can do any shape that you want, and you can create a pattern going all the way around that flat face there. It will look beautiful.
Yeah, let me show you. This is a mushroom I made, and there's the pattern I did on it.
There you go.
With that chisel right there.
Yeah. It's it's like any other tool. It's not the tool, it's how you use it, right?
Yep. And you can see that I just started off with a little rosette in the middle and then just sort of spiraled it. I did this all freehand. So
yeah, there's so much you can do with different tools. Is how you manipulate them to your advantage. There you go.
Found some of the tops.
Yeah.
Another good resource for like texturing videos would be the guy he's on YouTube, From a Seed, from Australia.
Can you put that in the chat, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you, sir. Welcome back.
Agar has a really good texturing, has several really good texturing videos on YouTube also. One of which he shows most of the tools that I just showed. The Sorby spiraling and texturing tool. He shows some of the other wheels because he's got a whole bunch of them. I only have the one tool and it takes a long time to change the wheel. So, but he has multiple tools and it's very easy for him to show the tools, bang, 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 run one after the other. So anything else?
So Matt, for the President's Challenge, I'm going to assume we're going to go for, I want people to turn something, a bowl, a box, whatever, and do some texturing on it. And if you've got the gilt creams and the airbrush, use that and show us what you got.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's why I started with the simple stuff is you can just cut grooves and use picture hanging wire to make stuff. So there's a lot you can do. One of the things that I really like to do the texturing on is boxes. Boxes, especially inside the lid, is a great place to put a texture. So they're great vehicles, if you will, for that sort of expression.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of it is don't just slap a texture on something. Think about it a little bit ahead of time. Plan it, like maybe just texture the rim and turn around it or something like that. Put a little thought into it and plan it out a little bit. That you'll get a much better result that way.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. If it doesn't look right, cut it off and start new.
That's right. Turn it off and do
it's only
something
wood,
else.
right?
It's only wood. It grows on trees.
That's right.
Hey, Jeff, if you can highlight me, I just want something on what Matt was just showing us. I have a finished product that I'd like to show. And this is the tool he was using right there.
Okay, the rotary tool.
In the
there's the rotary tool he was using right there. And you can do any angle. And this is a burr cap. It's actually oak. And I did some dies and stuff like that. But here it's all carved by hand, with a chisel. And this I did with a rotary tool. And I mean, the ideas and what you want to achieve, it's up to you. It's endless. You can do whatever you want. You don't like it, turn it off. And, as Matt just said, turn it off and do something else. But that's would be the finished product.
Thanks, Alfred. All right, if there's no more questions, I'm gonna send it back to you, Jeff.
Okay, Matt, thank you so much. It was a great demo.
Thank you.
And everybody's got their marching orders for the President's Challenge for next month. Well, that's good. I highlighted me and got you.
I highlighted you already.
Oh.
So you're
Dueling
highlighted
highlights.
now, Jeff.
Yeah.
You're highlighted, Jeff.
Here.
Yep. Chuck Labato, are you there?
Yeah.
Did you get the text I just sent you?
Probably not.
Okay. We didn't do a
I think
treasurer's report because you weren't there. I didn't know
you
if
want me to do that?
if you can do it. Mm-hmm.
Do you have the one I did the other day?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
I sent it. I downloaded it. Let me find it, and then I'll put something up.
Okay. Once he does that, we'll move into our tool review. So if you got a tool to show off, I've got at least one here. And then we'll be doing our Facebook challenge and our President's Challenge, selecting a winner for those. So also a quick recap. So if you're planning on coming to the picnic, please try to do it this week. Let Cindy Yates know that you're coming and how many people you're bringing with you, so we have a count. And just let her know if you're going to bring a dish to pass. We don't need to know what the dish is or anything like that. And also, get your applications in to Ken Kernicki if you're going to be in the DAW gallery in October. It's really important that they get an idea of how many people are participating in that. And then you can add in what it is that you're going to submit later on as we get closer to the date. So if you can get that done this week too, that would be great. I think I put Chuck on the spot.
Hold on. I thought I downloaded them and sent them to Ben, but I guess I didn't. Don't critique me for that again.
We'll discuss that at the board meeting.
Oh,
Chuck, you did not send it to me.
What Chuck is actually doing is transmitting from the Cayman Islands because he's nicked off with the funds.
Yeah, I doubt I could do that with the amount of funds we have.
All 2 grand of it. That'll last them a week.
Yeah.
Week.
Toledo, Ohio, maybe. Peoria, Illinois.
Okay. Are you ready for me? Cheers.
I've been to Peoria
yes,
and Toledo.
you should be able to share.
All right. Okay, here we go. So for the year, we've taken in $3,154. We've spent $3,154, so we're in the hole 14 cents.
Okay.
We won't be collecting any real dollars until we start collecting dues again in the fall. And so the loss will go up over time, especially with the picnic coming up and some other things. So, and then let me stop share and switch screens.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck.
Hold on,
Yep.
you want to know the bank balance?
Oh, sure. Yep.
So we have $11,676.95 in the checking. We have $41.98.94 in PayPal. So we have a total of $15,875.89. So we can survive until dues come up.
Okay, good. That's always good to hear. And one thing I've said before, and I've talked to the board about this, is one thing that I'm really interested in is the club getting into a position of being able to have some other income rather than just dues. So I'd like to see us getting involved in art shows and craft fairs. We get a shop set up again, start offering classes in wood turning, different things like that to generate some additional income for the club. That will also help stave off any concerns with raising dues in the future, which is something I would only want to do as a last resort. So that's nothing that's going to happen overnight. It's just something that I'd like to do, and moving forward, we'll pursue that. Was somebody saying something? Guess not.
Chuck started to say something.
Oh,
yeah, I think we also talked about starting to find grants. So if anyone is a grant writer, knows a grant writer, please message me and Jeff.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah, we'd like to get going on that as soon as we get that 501 in place.
Yeah,
we want to get that rolling.
Kresge gave away a bunch of money last year, and so did I can't think of the name of the other group, the other foundation in Detroit, but they gave away a ton of money, and they didn't give it all away.
Be nice to be in on that.
Yeah, we're more than happy to help them.
We'll take other people's money.
Yeah. So, okay. Thank you, Chuck. So let's move on to the tool review. And I will start. And I have got, as you all know, I went to the Ron Campbell's retreat. And the downside of going to Ron Campbell's retreat is that there's 2 vendors there. There's Carter and AZ Carbide. I bought Carter bearings and a quick tension release for my bandsaw and upgraded my bandsaw, which it's operating like a brand new machine now. It's amazing. So the only thing I got left to do on that is to put new wheels on, and that's coming. I did get, Ron has just introduced a new tool. It's available through AZ Carbide, and that's his Axe Carbide hollowing tool. This thing is beefy. It's got some weight to it. I mean, just this collet alone is quite heavy. The bar is heavy. The tool handle is heavy. It's got this flat area here, so when you hold on to it, it gives you some really easy steering with less chance of your hands slipping if you're like some people got one of those death grips, which is not always good. I just use this to finish hollowing out and cleaning out a vase that I'm going to show and tell that's going to be going on my Etsy site soon. What's cool about this is it's going to have interchangeable bars soon. You can also get a smaller handle for it for turning pens if you want to do that, but it's got interchangeable carbide tips on it. Now this is the smaller round carbide tip, and that is for hollowing out and on the inside. And I also use it for doing cleanup too on tool marks. You could also get with this a kit that has different bits in it. It's got the larger carbide bits for doing the roughing out on the outside, and for at a 45-degree angle doing cleanup of tool. It's got a square bit for roughing out. This is just another one of the bits that I already have on there for Halloween. And it's got 2 cup bits that are great at a 45-degree angle for really doing shear scraping and cleaning. They really do a good job. I have another tool that that is made by Harrison Specialties that I've used for years for that. These are just 2 different sizes added in, and the kit comes with the screws for it, so you don't have to go hunting for screws, and he gives you a wrench for it. And I think I paid $150 for everything at the retreat. And that was the retreat price. I think it's a little bit more, but I've only used it once. I really do like it. But like any carbide tool, you got to take light cuts or you're going to get a catch. It's very, very, there's a learning curve with people say carbide tools are easier. I think there's a learning curve to them. You've got, just like any tool, you've got to know how to handle it. But I do highly recommend the X, and you can get that at AZ Carbide. And Ron's doing a thing right now that if when you get it, he'll add you to the membership list, and as he comes out with new bits for it, you'll get them at a discount price. And he was just telling me the other day he's coming out with a diamond tip for it, which is something that I want to get into. So I think that's the I'm looking around here. That's the one tool I had that I wanted to show off. Anybody else got any tools that they'd like to show off, either new or something you've had in your shop and you've gotten a lot of good use out of it?
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay, and that is who?
Rick Williams.
Rick Williams. Okay, let's find you, Rick. Oh, I'm not seeing you.
There I am.
There you are.
I got him.
Thank you.
What this is a wall thickness gauge from Premier Gauges. And it's hard to see. There's a little scale on the end here that indicates exactly how thick it is or how thick your wall is. And so far, I've only used it roughing bowls, but I like it because it gives me a direct indication of how much I need to take off to get the cut, to get the wall thickness even. And it's been really helpful for me. This is their medium size, which works up to about 12-inch bowl or so. And I plan on getting the next bigger one too, because I guess it's the way my brain works. It's nice to have that direct indication of how much you have to cut off that section to get it to match the other section.
Yeah.
And I've tried using regular calipers and the D-shaped wire, and this one appeals to the way my faulty mind works. But they're really well made. It's just a single guy, one-man company, super nice guy. And I think this was, I want to say about $80 with shipping and stuff. He's down in Oklahoma. But yeah, I plan to get more of his stuff. It's really well made, nice stainless steel and everything.
Okay, and that's from who again?
Premier Gauges.
Premier Gauges.
Yeah, premiergauges.com.
Okay, great.
Can you put that in the chat maybe?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Rick.
Yep.
Anybody else got a tool they want to show off?
I have one, Jeff. It's not exactly a turning tool, but it's this stabilizer. It's a Carter Products.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see here, the bearing has a groove in it. And what it does, normally you don't have your bearings touching your bandsaw blade. They're only there as guides. If you go off track, they will put you back on. With this one and a 1/8 inch blade, you can use your bandsaw like a scroll saw. As a matter of fact, this is what Alex uses for his reindeer. It's really worth the money. I think I spent $60 or $70 on it. It was really worth it.
Doesn't Alex use an 1/8" blade?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You said 1 inch, and that's a lot thicker than the one he uses.
I'm sorry. I thought I guess what I was trying to say was 1/8 inch. I get tongue tied.
I want to see Alex make one of those reindeer with a 1-inch blade.
I don't doubt
that big deer.
I don't doubt that he could do it though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, and that as I remember too, that you take your existing Carter guides off, and that goes right in place of them.
Right, and you back off your lower guides, back them all the way off, and you put a preload on this so that the blade does ride in that groove. And that's all that's guiding it, is the back of the blade, not the front, or not the sides. It's just the back. And that's what gives them the control to make the tight turns, to make those cool reindeer.
Yeah. So that's got to be great for bandsaw boxes too.
Oh, I've been whipping out bandsaw boxes with this thing.
Yeah. And you're using an 1/8 inch blade for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, do you have the pattern for the reindeer?
It's not really a pattern. Hang on a second.
He does them so fast, my eyes can't focus enough.
Yeah, we had him slow down at the retreat after he did one, and it was still too fast.
If you guys want to see him do it, there are a couple of videos on YouTube of him doing it. They're like close-ups.
Yeah. And
you can just watch a section of it and then slow it down, and that's real helpful.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got it on his website or his YouTube channel, Bandsaw Life, yet or not. I think he's got it on the Carter site.
No, but it's other. The best one I saw was from somebody else who was like at one of those wood shows a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they all do it so fast, you don't have enough time to focus, and by the time you see the next step, you forgot the previous step.
Well, when I took his class on how to do it, he drew it on the piece of wood and says, just follow the lines, follow the pencil mark. And that's what I've been doing. I've made about 3 or 4 of them. And that's what I do, is I follow the pencil marks. I draw it on there.
Oh.
I've gotten so that I don't need the pattern. I can just draw it. Sometimes my proportions are off a little bit, but it's all a learning curve.
Yeah, you just need to do 100 of them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like Ray used to say, do 100 bulls. Well, do 100 reindeer.
Yeah. And you probably still won't be as fast as Alex.
Oh,
definitely.
He's probably got 10,000 under his belt.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we asked him, I think he said his best time was 25 seconds.
Wow.
Yep.
It's amazing.
But watching him do it, you can believe that.
And that's doing you cut it on the side, cut everything out, and then, or I'm sorry, on the front, cut it all out, and then flip it over on the side and cut that out. And 25 seconds for all of that. Guys, fascinating.
Yeah. And he still has all his fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. Okay, is that it, Mike?
Yep.
Thank you very much. Anybody else got a tool? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, we're going to come back to me then. And we are at the point of our meeting that we're going to do our Facebook challenge. We've had 20 people this month submit items to the Facebook page. I have set the randomizer to 20, and I'm going to hit the button. Oh, I'm going to try something new. They say you can shake it. Let's do that. Oh, there we go. Number 4. Number 4 is the winner. That is Mike Lenaway. Mike, you win a gift certificate from Craft Supply. So now you can spend $200-300.
Yeah, $10 gift certificate will cost me about $400.
Well, listen, when you're putting in your list of items, give me a call because I got a few things myself.
Can I use your charge card?
Well, then you wouldn't be getting much. So next thing is President's Challenge. We had 12 people submit items for the President's Challenge. I'm going to pull up the images here. And this was based on Robo's great demo last month where we asked you to turn a garden dibble, a honey dipper, or a plastic bag carrier. And so, no, I didn't want to do that. Shoot. Let's go here, up to the top. So why is this giving me a hard time?
Because it's Windows.
Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to move us out of the way. Well, something's not right here because I'm not getting the thing where I can scroll. Oh, let me try this then. Open. You know, this never failed. Everything worked perfect yesterday. Photos.
Sure it did.
There we go. Get that out of the way. Okay, this is Ben Shipman, number 1. Ben Shipman, number 2. Dave Meyer, garden dibbles. That was the most popular item, was the garden dibbles. David Alar, that's the plastic bag holder. Glenn McCullough, garden dibbles. Or a good defensive weapon too. Kathleen Gardner, there's 1. Also Kathleen Gardner. And Kathleen Gardner. She was busy with them. Mark Wallace, he made 1 of each. Matt Harber. Mike Lenaway. Paul Zirkle. Philip Stevens. Also Philip Stevens. And Philip Stevens, he made all 3. Looks like he used some distressed wood there. Pretty cool. Richard Megnick. Richard's having trouble posting his, so he was concerned it didn't get in, but you're there, Richard. Ron Pullman. And Sandy Doran, she made a honey dipper. So, Robo, you inspired a lot of us. We had a very good turnout for that. So, as I said,
just like to say before you go any further, Jeff, I'm glad to see that everybody picked it up, and it's interesting to see some of the creative designs actually, but that's what everything's about. Get an idea in your head and just go for it.
Exactly. And that's the great thing about wood turning. Yep. So I've got the randomizer set to the number 12. Let's give it a shake. Number 3, Kathleen Gardner, you won a gift certificate. Congratulations to both of our winners.
Thank you.
So get your pocketbook ready.
So you got 2 now?
I got 2 now.
Okay, so that takes care of the that part of the meeting. So now we're up to show and tell, and I will get it started. As I mentioned, at Ron Campbell's retreat, I took 2 of Matt's classes. One of them was turning a goblet, and this is my very first goblet ever. I had to bring it home and finish it because we actually ran out of time. It's a beautiful piece of cherry, and you know, I'm very happy with how it came out. I've said many times before, I'm not a spindle turner. It's a new thing for me that I'm learning. but Matt made it very easy to understand. And there it is on the inside.
Yeah,
So
there's actually both spindle and face turning on that, which is one of the reasons why I like teaching goblets.
yeah,
A little bit of everything.
yeah. So the next thing I mentioned during the tool review that I used my new tool for doing the final cleanup on the inside of a vase I just turned. This is a vase. I've posted this on Facebook a couple different times. This is from a birch log that Mike Lenaway gave me a couple months back. I did it and I didn't like it. It was constantly cracking on me and I got mad and I parted it off and set it on the stand next to my chair in the living room, and it sat there for a couple months with me staring at it. And last week I finally just got to thinking there's got to be a way I can finish that. So I got it mounted back on the lathe using a combination of coal jaws and my steady rest from Cindy, and got it remounted and finished the inside. I thinned it out a little bit more. It's about 3/8 of an inch thick. Got the inside all cleaned up and polished, and then resanded the outside. I wasn't happy with the sanding on the outside of it, so I totally resanded it. And it's actually to the point where I like it enough that I'm going to put it in the Etsy store. And you'll probably see a Facebook posting about that. So Mike, thank you for the wood. And so that's my show and tell for this month. Anybody else got show and tell?
Yeah, I got something. Alfred.
Okay. Let's see. Boop, boop. There you go.
Okay, here we go. These are a couple of, both of these came from the same piece of wood. And I'm showing these to show people that if you have a thicker piece of wood, don't waste the wood. So, you know, I just cut it and I could make 2 platters out of one. And there's on each one, there's a basket illusion pattern. By the way, the wood is choke cherry. I like choke cherry more than cherry when I can find it because it has more definition in the grain. And, you know, regular OG. And I like doing the bottom like that, so it doesn't look like there is a recess or a tenon. It's something that's inconspicuous and people don't see it. And when you have it hang, you don't see a tenon jutting out there. That's why I like to do it this way. And so that is one, and this is the same. So there are 2 different patterns, and I don't know how many beads there are. This is all drawn with India ink, and there's burning. That's another texturing, not texturing, embellishing, like what Matt was showing. These are all beads here. And then I burn them exactly like Matt was showing with Formica in the bottom here. That's all burnt with Formica. And then these lines going here across, I made a fixture for my lathe so I can index it. And I use my burner, but I made a burner for it in the shape of a bead. And I can lay it there and go each one next to the other one and burn them, index it and go that way. Then I made a pattern on a full scale piece of paper, and then I just colored the India ink.
Beautiful. Did you use the indexing on your lathe or do you have a wheel?
No, I made a wheel.
Okay.
I don't think the indexing on the lathe, I have a Powermatic, it's not that fine. I actually have 144 divisions here. I like to work 144. The reason is because everything 144 is easily divisible by any number. So when you have a pattern, you know, you have to make sure that it goes all the way around and they match, not like overlapping or you have a gap in between. So that's why I use 144. You can use 96 too, but I found that 96, especially on the size of a platter, the gap will be too far between, and it's not as, you know, nice as when you have 144.
Yeah, I like this finer detail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Makes it harder when you come to do the dies, because you have to watch it that, you know, the smaller the bead, And the distance here is very easy to go and touch the other bead. And it's very kind of time consuming to do that.
But that's half the fun of it.
Yeah, have the fun of it. And, you know, I usually lay down on my recliner with my cheater and, yeah, and do that.
Are you using the Faber-Castell pens to do that
Yes,
with?
yes, I do. I get two types. I get the S, which is, I think is the fine one. And then there is the B, which is the bullet and the kind of to fill in. So I go around the perimeter of the rectangle first with the small, and then I, you know, for ease of going quicker, I use the bullet. So yeah, that's that. And I still on what Matt was saying about texturing, this is something I'm working on.
Oh.
This was gonna be a potpourri, but it's not. It's gonna change. I'm gonna make a finial of some kind when I finish it. I started this quite a while back, but I haven't finished. All underneath, it's all carved by I burned it. All underneath. That's how the wood is taken out of there. It's a combination of using very small tools to burn, and with the burner, you can actually smooth it out at the same time, besides taking the wood out. And these, I started big here. They're gonna get smaller as they go to the bottom. And then I'm gonna put the veins in through and color it and do all that. So I still have a long, long way, but I didn't get the initiative to start it again. So it's gonna be a while.
It's looking great, though.
Alfred, my opinion of you still hasn't changed, mate. You're still a mongrel.
Hey, Robo, I just saw your video on how to make the magic wand, and it took you less than 3 minutes with the skew. That is amazing.
Well, that's what I've been doing my whole life. So
yeah,
thank you. But that's truly magnificent, or it will be when it's finished.
Yeah, when it's finished, yes, yeah.
That's the thing with Alfred. Even his work in progress is beautiful.
I know, he's a mongrel, like I said.
Okay, anybody else got a show and tell?
Not after Alfred's.
Oh, come on. Everything you make is worth showing.
Jeff, I got one.
Okay, that was Paul?
Yeah.
Okay, let's find you. There you are. There you go.
I got inspired to show this after you told me what you did with that vase. This is a little candy dish I was making. I actually threw this out 4 times, and then I finally picked it up to finish it. And it's only about 1/8 of an inch thick, and it's out of cherry.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it now.
Why did you throw it away?
I don't know. I didn't like it.
See, that's one thing I learned. There's a lot of things that I make that I consider mistakes or flaws or anything, so I won't put them out in the market. And then my wife gets on my case and says, it's beautiful, put it out there, and they sell. So I tend to listen to my wife now.
Yeah, you know, I used to have the same idea when I started to, unless it's perfect and exact.
Yeah.
It's not good. Now I look for faults in the wood to accentuate the wood.
Right.
So
see, we see things that the common everyday person wouldn't see.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Alfred, when you first said that, I didn't think you were saying that you didn't listen to your wife.
We know better, Paul. We know better.
Yeah.
I've got something to show.
Okay, Matt. There you go.
When everybody knows that I turn a lot of goblets. A lot of them are natural edge. Not all of them survive. So I make little cups out of them.
Oh, teacup.
Oh, there you go.
I put them back on the lathe or the belt sander, and I clean off the bottom and make little cups out of them. So
hey, Matt's suggestion. Now that's a design opportunity. You make a very thin stem for that of different wood. And what I did one similar to that. And what I did a tenon and a hole-in-one, and I just stuck it like that and glued it.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about the transition. This fits into, we are all our own worst critics. I want a very nice transition from one to the other. Maybe I could make that work. So I'll think about it, Alfred. Thank you. I'm not sure I got enough room for a tenon recess on the bottom of this. It'd have to be really thin.
Well, you could do it. Let me bring it. Let me show you what I did.
It's pretty deep. That's all I'm saying.
You could do a little teacup handle.
There you go.
Get a little carving under your belt.
Yeah, you know me. I don't have enough carving under my belt.
Actually, your tenon can be a.
Jeff, can you highlight me for a second? I show what.
Okay, let me find you. I went the wrong way. Hold on.
Is that a funnel, Matt?
No, it's
there. You go. There you go. That's gonna look nice.
Yeah, this is a work in progress. It's been going on for several years. So
yeah.
That is the definition of a work in progress.
Yeah.
I like how my scales are showing up. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, this is what I was talking about. This is walnut, and this is actually cherry. The wood doesn't really show, but there's a lot more contrast. But what I did a tenon on the goblet itself, and I put a hole in here, and I just made a small bead in there, and you can tell the difference.
Sure.
But it's it's about 13 inches tall.
Does it wibble? When you put it on the table, does it go wibble, wibble, wibble? There you go.
Yeah. You remember when we had that guy who was giving us a demo at Chatbush? He did that and it just blew because he pulled a bit too much.
Yep.
Now I'm not gonna try that.
Yeah.
And that's
that might have been me. That might have been me, Alfred.
Yeah. That's the step I did. That's something different. I did it straight all the way, and I really like it. So,
very
but
nice.
you can do something like that. That's why I'm bringing this up. So, with what you have enough material there. You should be able to do something like that.
It's pretty deep, Alfred.
Yeah, no, I mean on the outside here.
Yeah, but it's pretty deep. I would go through on the inside because it's.
Oh, okay.
It's,
okay. The inside is deep. I know how you like to do them. You like to do them below.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, you'll figure it out.
Yep. Thanks,
Very
Alfred. Good idea.
Thank you. Jay, you had your hand up?
Yeah, my hand is up. You guys know I like to use a skew a lot, and I do a lot of production work for the weaponry that I make. So just to show you real quickly, over here, I'll turn my camera around. Let's go on.
You muted yourself, Jay.
Okay, now, there it is right there. Okay, so today I'm working on a production of Tonfa, the side handle batons I make for the martial arts community. And all these handles are all turned with the skew. Very, very smooth, very easy. And that's how they go on top. And these are my 3 skews I use the majority of the time. My Allen Lasser, which is my favorite. Got this little Sorby, which is a half round. And this is what I use for all my tenons. This is a nice straight 3/4. And I'm actually slicing across instead of plunging on most of the cut anymore because it comes out really smooth and sweet that way. So I'll demonstrate this stuff in September when I do my demonstration. But yeah, I love using those skews. And consistency is what I'm looking for always. Nice same shape all the time. So that's what I got.
Very nice. Thank you. Matt, how do we put, it's still showing he's got a hand up. How do we put that down?
I got it.
Okay. Then Glenn has got his hand up. Let's highlight him. There we go, Glenn.
Got to unmute yourself, Glenn.
All right. How's that? Yeah, you didn't want to look at me that close. I'm working on some beer mugs right here.
Oh, cool.
This is an order of 7 mugs, and they're 10 staves each, which is seeing the stave tool that was mentioned earlier might be interesting to me, but they're turned on, this one's turned on the outside and the inside. This is made of cypress, but all these other mugs, they're drying right now, but they're turned on the inside like this, but still left flat on the outside. And they have epoxy resin on the inside.
Okay. How many coats of epoxy do you use?
I use 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the first coat is a little rough, and then you sand down sand it down with about a 320, and then you put the second coat on. It goes on a lot easier. You can I actually didn't have to do the bottom, because as you put the inside coat on, a lot of the resin will settle down to the bottom. So you just smooth that out. It's got a nice thick coat, and that helps fill in the seam, the transition from the sides to the bottom. So that helps keep it water resistant. And yeah, so I just did the one that has a teak handle is not part of this whole group. I got the other one right here that I'm putting the finish on right now. But yeah, so I've got some orders for those, and it's been fun working on these things, and buys me an extra tool or two, who knows, right?
Yeah, right. Great. Well, thank you very much. Good work.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Oh, Robert, Bob's got his hand up. Let me highlight him.
I'll do one after him, Jeff.
Okay, Ben. Okay, Bob, it's all yours.
Yeah, I'm doing the third of I won't say a series, but I've had people buy these. It's just walnut, but it's a bowl actually within a bowl, because it's all one piece of wood. And this one is supposed to be for nuts, and the nutcracker goes up here, a couple holes for the nutcracker that they want, but a bowl as one solid piece of wood, a bowl in a bowl as part of it. And and the bottom, cool. It's still mounted for my chuck, because I keep the faceplate and the screw in, because I take it in and out constantly, and it always stays centered that way. But the hard part's getting down in here. Yeah. And how I did that is with the tool that you just showed that you bought. I was a beta tester for, and I did 2 of them one with it to begin with when it was still beta, and then worked on a couple other items to go. And that's what I do for this, for hollowing. It's not deep hollowing, it's being able to get down inside and be able to get this curve that's down inside. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
It's not finished yet. I keep raising the grain with alcohol to get the grain to come up, because I like to be able to have the wood itself show through as solid instead of punky. You know, and then
Hey, Bob, you said that was walnut? That kind of looks like honey locust to me.
Well, when I bought it, or the person sent it to me, they said it was walnut.
Okay.
So you're probably right, because it was from a tree that the neighbor had back then. But I don't know wood. I know the first one I did was out of walnut, and I've got another one because I got a walnut tree out that was given to me for a big piece of it. But I really like working with it. This will make the third, but it's something to do. But his new tool did it all.
Nice.
And to get down in here at the angle, that's why if you look at, people say, well, why does it taper so far? Well, to be able to get a straight cut to do the vertical that's down in here.
Yeah.
You need that, because that is actually above. This isn't just a funnel sitting on it. And I've got another person wants me to come up and put lights in it, in one for them. So whatever.
It's a cool design.
I have to say they're all family.
Yeah. It's a very cool design. Good work.
Thank you.
Okay, Ben, you are next. Let's find you. You're probably down towards the end.
What? I should be first.
There he is. Well, you came in, you left and came back.
No, I was never here till later.
Oh, really?
So a friend at work got a 3D printer and he printed me these, I don't want to call them molds, pen blanks that I'm going to fill in with resin. And then you just drill this whole thing and turn it.
Uh-huh.
So I just thought it was kind of a unique thing to show people.
Looking forward to seeing the finished product. I actually bought a pen blank that was made like that.
That was made, yeah. I'm not sure if the resin he used is going to adhere to my resin. It should, because he has a resin 3D printer.
Oh.
But we'll see. I'm probably going to cast them later today. I'll try to post pictures when they're done.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I look forward to seeing it.
All right, that's it.
Awesome. Anybody else for show and tell? Last call? Okay. So that brings us to our very last item of the day, and that's a few minutes for questions and answers. If anybody's having any issues with anything, or you got some general club questions or anything, this is the time to ask. Anybody got anything?
Yeah, what about Cindy 8's Chuck that you're raffling off? Cindy,
Oh my goodness, I skipped right over that. I don't know why I have a check mark on it. Thank you. Oh, that's embarrassing. Thank you. Yeah, the tool raffle. We are not there yet. We've got 13 tickets to sell before I can raffle this off. And I don't want to wait till the September meeting. So if we can get 13 more tickets, or more if you want to buy more, 13 more tickets sold off, then I will raffle this thing off at the picnic. And if you're there, you'll be able to pick it up at the picnic. So just 13 more tickets. The link is in the members only section of our website. And you click on the link each time you want to buy a ticket. You can buy more than one ticket if you like. I know numerous people have bought 2 and 3 tickets. So get out there and buy those tickets. There's been no ticket sales for the last 3 weeks. So we've got to get those last 13 sold and we can get that raffled off. So, and I'd like to do that at the picnic. So thank you, Kathleen, for reminding me about that. I have no idea why that was checked off as being talked about.
That's all right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Can't see Cindy's left.
Okay, then. Well, that's our meeting for July. Remember, next month, there is no meeting. It's going to be our Turnathon picnic at Chuck's home, and his address is in the members only area of the website. And please, this week, if you can, let Cindy know that you're coming and how many people you're bringing with you, and just let her know if you're bringing a dish or not. And it'll be a great time. Looking forward to it. So our next real meeting is going to be in September. That'll be our first face-to-face meeting since February of last year. Amazing, isn't it? And as I said, I probably won't be there, ironically. I've been looking so forward to this, and it's falling right in line with the vacation. So, but we'll have one, and it'll be great, and everybody will get to see each other. I even approve hugging. So
I'm questioning your priorities, Jeff, putting your vacation and family over turning. Come on, dude.
Yeah, right. It's not my call. It's not my call.
Jeff, will the
demo, Matt,
face-to-face meeting have a Zoom element as well?
Yes. So our friends at the DAW will be able to join us through Zoom. Good. And we're going to continue doing that. Now, the first couple times we do that, being in this new environment, may be kind of tricky. We've got to figure out the technology. We're going to do some stuff before that meeting to experiment once we get the lathe moved over and the equipment. So, but at the very least, they should be able to view the meeting. And then as time goes on, we'll get that all figured out, work out the bugs and so on. So yeah, but we will continue to Zoom. That's an important part of our club now.
Good.
So.
Nice to be impotent.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have to start wearing a tuxedo.
Yes. I expect to see that now. With a cummerbund too.
Oh dear.
Cummerbund is below the camera, dude. That's why we don't wear them.
Yeah. I used to have a white tails tuxedo with a gold bow tie and a gold cummerbund that I wore in my show, and white shoes.
I was going to ask whether it had to be red or black, actually.
It can be any color you want.
Does that still fit, Jeff?
No.
I had a white one. Believe it or not, in a past life, I had 5 tuxedos, a silver one, a white one, and 3 black ones.
Wow.
You said you used to ballroom dance. You had awards in ballroom dancing.
That's right. Yep.
Wow. Cool.
Very cool.
I had 3. I had a black, I had a black, a mustard yellow tuxedo, and a white tuxedo. And they wore them in different parts of my show over the years. So I don't fit into any of them anymore. They've all gone off to Salvation Army years ago.
Yeah, mine too.
You're right.
I was going to say you might land a gig with Powermatic if you were wearing the mustard one.
Yeah. You can still get them too.
That's
yeah, but I bet your tuxedos had all the other pockets in them that were unnormal.
No, I didn't do that because I was an illusionist. I didn't need all that gear. So, and I'm not going to say why he's mentioning that, because you're not supposed to know about that stuff. But I was an illusionist.
Keep your money hidden.
Yeah, but I was an illusionist, so I worked with all the big illusions and stuff, and so I didn't need all that gear and everything like all the other guys.
I was wondering where my Rolex went.
I used to do a trick where I borrowed a watch from a guy in the audience, smashed it all up and restored it. And one time, the first time I did it, the guy actually gave me a Pierre Junard. I don't know if you've heard of that. That's like higher than Rolex, way higher.
Yes.
I couldn't believe this guy gave it to me. I was walking back up to the stage and I was in shock looking at this going, I got to make sure I do this right. And you should have seen the look on the guy's face when I put it in the bag, laid it on my stand and started beating it with a hammer. And I thought the guy was going to have a heart attack. So
would have been worse had you handed him back a whole heap of parts.
Well, part of the joke was I was teaching how to do this. And so I'm reading instructions that I do this. So you beat it with a hammer, then you flip over the next page. And the next instruction was, before striking with hammer, palm into pocket. And I just kind of look at the audience. And but this poor guy was having a heart attack. So I decided not to stretch it out like the original routine was. We restored it fairly quickly for him.
You're here today telling us about it because you did do it quickly.
I did do it quickly. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, if I was a guy in the audience and I was willing to donate something like that, I wouldn't do a Rolex or a PR. I'd have second thoughts about a Timex. So, but
you got an honest face.
I got an honest face. When it comes to magic shows, people just trust you because they just know you're performing miracles. So I used to get a lady from the audience and put her in the guillotine. Yeah. Someday I'll find an old video clip of that and I'll show it to you guys. It was fun. And matter of fact, that old video clip has me in my white tuxedo. So
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I'll have to find it. It's on an old VHS tape somewhere, so I got to get it moved over to a computer.
Yeah, I got a question for Mike. Mike Lenaway. Mike, you still out there? Yes, you are.
I am.
How much does the that 3-point tool? How much does that cost? A club has some of those to sell, right?
I think there's 2 or 3 left, if I remember right. It's hard for my memory to go back 18 months.
I think it was 1.
1?
From when I did the inventory, yeah.
Which were $10.
Yeah.
And it's the high-speed steel, the ferrule, and a wood blank, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you.
What's your shaft diameter?
It's like a 1/4 inch.
It's a 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
1/4 inch.
Yeah, you don't want to get any thicker than that, in my experience.
Here it is.
Yeah.
So,
you can make those real easily out of the lifters that lose their pressure, that are used to hold car doors, hatches open.
Oh, the jets. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can actually make them out of broken drill bits.
Yeah.
They'll be short, but they are high-speed steel.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, everyone.
Okay, that's it, everybody. Stay safe. Keep making shavings, as Captain Eddie says, and we'll see you at the picnic next month.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Yep. So long.
Night.
See you later.